State Senator, thank you very much for joining us again.
Thank you.
So, did you listen to President? Good. Did you listen to President Obama's speech today?
Yeah, I did. You know, apparently his nose should be a lot longer right now.
And the reason is, I'll take that bait.
Beg pardon?
And the reason you say that his nose is a lot longer is why?
Because of the misinformation in his speech. There's absolutely one fabrication after another. You know,
okay, well, tell me what it is.
Well, first of all, he talks about talks about worksite enforcement. Worksite enforcement is down 75% under his administration. He talks about crime is down, and that's simply not to talk to Rob Krantz's family, who was murdered. I just spoke to his widow Monday as I was down there with a group of legislators visiting with the ranchers touring the border again. He talks. I mean, he mixes immigration with illegal aliens. Clearly a false and insulting pretense. He talks about Albert Einstein and Nikola Tesla. You know, those are legal immigrants, and he compares them to those coming in today illegally. The whole speech was absolutely outrageous. He wants amnesty. He's pushing for amnesty, and yet he continues to deny that. You know, this is absolutely insulting to the American public.
Do you think he understands Arizona's upset on this or not? I mean, you know, I don't think he's been down to take a look at the border, and it might really help him a lot if he sort of went down and talked. If he had a town hall meeting, it might help. He has spoken to Hispanics this week and activists, and now he went to American University today. But would a trip down to Arizona and even a town hall meeting, would that be helpful?
Well, not if it's just a drive-by, but it would be helpful if you talked to the victims. I talked to those ranchers. I had them up after Rob Krantz's murder to tell their story. They said it's as bad or worse than it's ever been on that border, and yet he ignores that. And he continues to push for amnesty when the American people say no. It's absolutely outrageous, and the violence is up. And he ignores the deaths, the maimings, and the costs, such as in Arizona, $2.7 billion a year to educate, medicate, and incarcerate. You know, enough is enough. Yeah, it'd be nice if he visited, but he's not only going to not visit probably, he probably hasn't even read the bill to date. He talks about the fear and, you know, the fact that people could be stopped accidentally and they're all at risk, kind of like the ACLU putting out their advisory. Absolutely outrageous fabrication. Let's call it a lie. It's absolutely is. This bill goes farther than the federal bill, puts in safeguards. There is no racial profiling, have to be a legitimate contact, and you have to have reason to believe they're in the country illegally before you can even go further. It's outrageous that they continue to fear-monger and put out misinformation, deceitful, dishonest, and insulting information to the American people.
Why do you think he gave this speech?
Why do I think what?
Why do you think he gave this speech today?
You know, I don't know why he does. I don't want to get into why he does it, but I can tell you it's pretty disappointing that he ignores the damage to this country and fails to take his oath of office seriously. His job is supposed to be for God and his constituents to uphold the laws of this land. And yet he's badmouthed. Arizona law is modeled after federal law. It is the law of the land. It's been the law for 50 years. They're not worried about racial profiling, honestly. They're not worried about what a lawful contact is, honestly. They're worried that the law is actually going to be enforced. We have 20 states that are working on model legislation modeled after 1070. 20 states. America is fed up. They want the laws enforced. And all we're doing in 1070 is taking the handcuffs off law enforcement, letting them do their job. We have sanctuary policies all over this country. They're illegal. They're in violation of federal law. The damage that's caused from them is outrageous, and deaths and maimings and the billions in cost. Enough is enough. We just want our laws enforced. And he gives you false choices, like you've got to have blanket amnesty or mass deportation. That's absolutely false, and he knows it. It's attrition by enforcement. You simply enforce the laws. You go after illegal employers. You take away the public benefits. You take the handcuffs off law enforcement, and I guarantee you, you'll have a turnaround in this nation and respect for the laws of this nation.
All right, let me play devil's advocate with you. In terms of the Arizona law, I've always thought that the Arizona law sort of set the table. It put the issue in place so that finally the American people were facing it head on, and hopefully our politicians to solve a problem that has been one that's going on for decades. the president's speech today, did that not also sort of set the table and get the discussion going? Now, one of the things he said, you said that he talked about amnesty, but he says here, he says, more fundamentally, I'm reading from the speech, the presence of so many illegal immigrants makes a mockery of all those who are going through the process of immigrating legally. So there was some recognition that there are those who are here legally and there are those who are getting here illegally.
You know, that's a mockery. His comments are a mockery. Again, he talked about immigrants and illegal aliens in the same context as if there's no difference. That's a mockery to those who have followed the law, stood in line. Secondly, the mockery is, and we don't have a broken immigration process, we have broken politicians. We need to fix Washington, D.C., and the states need to fix their sanctuary policies. That's the problem. What's insulting is we ignored this. We've let it get this bad because they've ignored the law. That same thing was done in 1986 when they gave amnesty. One time, never to be done again, and enforce the laws. Never meant it then, they don't mean it now. Absolutely, again, they continue to lie to the public, the American people, and refuse to call it what it is. They know they're on the wrong side of the issue, and they're absolutely refusing to be honest with the American people.
All right, we got 20 seconds left. You and I have been talking about the president and about his speech today. Now I want you to look into the camera and give your message from Arizona to the president. What do you want to say to the president?
Just enforce the law. Have respect for the laws of the land. Have respect for our borders. Have respect for the victims. And again, government is complicit. Washington, D.C. is what's broken, not the immigration policies. We have good laws. We have people suffer every day because of government's failure to enforce the law and be respectful to the process we have. We have a pathway to citizenship already in place. You know, we allow more people into this country legally than every other civilized nation combined. What we want is enforcement. What's coming across that border today are gang members, human smugglers, drug smugglers, child molesters, bad guys. 20% have criminal convictions already. Enforce the law, secure the border. We've been promised for 30 years that's going to take place. Can't we just keep one promise, secure the border, and enforce our laws?
State Senator, thank you, sir, and I'm sure we'll be asking you back if you will come back, because this issue, regrettably, is not going away very soon. Thank you, sir.
No, it's not. And Greta, thank you. And if people go to banamnestynow.org, they can help me with stopping this amnesty in America today.
Senator, thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.